Welcome, Chautauqua County. My name is Shawnee Anderson, and I serve as President and CEO of Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care, otherwise known as CHPC. We are virtually gathered here together today at the site of the first hospice residence for Chautauqua County for a groundbreaking event and a name reveal. Over the almost 18 years I have worked with hospice, there have been many people that could have benefited from a hospice residence, either because they couldn't go home or didn't have one, or their caregivers were exhausted or non-existent, or their care was simply too complex for family and friends to manage. I am personally thrilled that this needed care will finally become available for people at their most vulnerable time. Bert and Mary Rappel have had a long relationship with CHPC, and we are very fortunate that they agreed to be our fundraising campaign co-chairs. They have been a driving force in our success, and I would like to introduce them to you now. Bert and Mary Rappel.
Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care has been an important part of both of our careers. Bert, as a physician and a founding board member, assisted in the late 80s with the certification. I had an opportunity to work with Dr. Putnam in both the hospice and the palliative care program. We both knew of the high quality care that has been given throughout the county, but we always knew that there was a piece missing. But now, with the development of a residence, a 24-hour staffed residence, end-of-life care in Chautauqua County has now risen to a new level. The focus will continue to be to keep patients at home where they're safe and comfortable, but knowing there's an alternative that they can move into will give great support to all of the staff. My personal goal over the last 15 months has been twofold. One, of course, to raise funds, but the second has been to increase awareness of the comprehensive care and the comfort that can be offered when hospice enters a family. I'm thankful for the leadership and the staff that Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care, that both of those goals have been accomplished.
As Mary said, we started to try and make this happen last summer when we were asked to be the co-chairs of the campaign. And with all that's transpired with COVID-19 and shutting down of the whole society, it was quite difficult. But fortunately, things moved along very well, and that I've always had a heart for palliative care and hospice, and it's even more important now with care being fractionated, with patients having a family physician, a hospitalist, and maybe a specialist, and care not being coordinated. This becomes a crisis when somebody's near death or actively dying, and the people who have been taking care of them all of a sudden are gone because they had to go to go to the hospital or go to a nursing home outside the county, or a palliative care facility, a hospice house outside the county, and they lose their providers. I'm really excited that we will have that not happen anymore, because we'll have this hospice house. And what a wonderful day as we realize our dream of the hospice house really coming to fruition.
A fundraising campaign amidst a global pandemic is a challenge to any group, but the timetable was dictated by the state authorities, so we proceeded. The community has been tremendously supportive and realized this is a county asset that will be available to everyone in Chautauqua County. Without all of you, this never could have happened. Here are some comments from just a few of you.
20 years ago, when my mother, then in her 96th year, was going through end-of-life issues, hospice came to our rescue, and with expertise and oversight that enabled us to keep her in the Dibert House for her final days. We were one of the lucky ones. She was one of the lucky ones, because those places don't exist any longer, small assisted living residences. Coincidentally, just a year ago, when we were presented with this grant request from the hospice group, a dear friend of mine was dying of cancer, and his wife had predeceased him. His kids both had 3 small children, no room to take him in, and the only option was the hospital, which was contrary to their wishes and certainly his wishes as I visited him in his last days. This would have been the perfect solution for somebody like Steve or anybody in that situation. Lene is very happy to be part of this and be able to sponsor this, and I know Reg and Betty Lene, who are the benefactors of the foundation, would be very proud to sponsor the hospice residents.
The Chautauqua Region Community Foundation is pleased to partner with Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care to bring our very first hospice house to our community. Our board was proud to make a grant to support this community-wide fundraising effort. We look forward to the construction and the completion of the project, and more than anything, we look forward to the families that will be helped by this important service.
Everyone at LHIN's sends well wishes to Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care as they enter the final stage of their fundraising efforts to build the Star Hospice House. We have worked hand in hand with hospice for many years and see up close the loving and compassionate way their staff treats each family. Every facet of the hospice organization is professional, respectful, and caring. About 5 years ago, I saw hospice from the perspective of a family member as my brother and I helped our mom while she courageously battled cancer for 2.5 years. We called on hospice to help in the last few months of her life. They calmly came in and helped Mom with any need that arose and relieved some of the burden. No one wants to think about end-of-life issues for themselves or someone they love. But there comes a time when all have to broach that subject. Many of us would choose to be in a home-like setting rather than a hospital or a nursing home. When the hospice house is completed, that option will be available. Let's all get behind this wonderful cause and make the Star Hospice House a reality.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Quinville, Regional Sales Executive and Buffalo Market President for KeyBank. We're proud to support the important work that everyone at Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care does. It truly does make a difference in our community. Congratulations on the groundbreaking for Hospice House. We look forward to the day it opens and ushering in a new era of compassionate care in the Southern Tier.
My name is Dick Anzel. I'm a volunteer for Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care, located here in Lakewood, New York. I've enjoyed the 10 years working with my clients, assisted with other people that are part of our team. I've been in areas like Sherman, Clymer, Westfield, Holmes, and virtually every nursing home in the Jamestown area. And most of the areas I've been in, I've experienced, the rest of the family that experience tough times and looking for some consolation in what they're faced and going through. And I feel that working with Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care, if they were to build a facility close to the area, would be a tremendous asset for all, mainly for the clients that are suffering from cancer.
Chautauqua County Hospice and Palliative Care provide an incredibly valuable service for our community. When my mom was in her last days, we reached out to them and they came and provided great, compassionate, thoughtful, caring service and made all the difference in the world and allowed my mom to pass away at home with dignity. I am here supporting Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care today so that we know that they'll be there for us when we need them tomorrow. Thank you for your support.
Now I'd like to introduce Charles Rice, who is chair of the CHPC board and has been a strong advocate for the development of this much needed hospice residence. Charles?
Thank you, Shauna. The Chautauqua Hospice and Palliative Care Board of Directors has strongly supported the hospice residence project since its inception and has assisted with the project in many ways. Today, I am here to share with you the news of a receipt of a lead gift from Stanley and Elizabeth Starr, which assured that the project would move forward. Stanley and Elizabeth Starr are well known to residents of Chautauqua County. Stanley devoted his career to the family fruit juice and private label business, Cliffstar Corporation, that began as his family's 19th century winery. The Stars were active in the northern Chautauqua community throughout their lives until the sale of their company in 2010, when they began spending more time in Naples, Florida. However, they remain committed to Chautauqua County and those who live here, as demonstrated by their generous donation to the residents. They ask that we share with you the following comments. We are pleased and proud to support the Hospice House campaign and this very important need in our community. Author, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker Jin Ron best summarizes the Stars' feelings about philanthropy, that one person caring about another represents life's greatest value. This legacy gift came with the naming opportunity of the house. In honor of this gift, the hospice residence will be named the Star Hospice House. At this time, we will share with you words of encouragement from our board and campaign members.
I'm delighted to be a campaign volunteer. It has been the most rewarding experience for me. Today I have the privilege of thanking the Carnahan Jackson Foundation, the Holmberg Foundation, and the Jesse Smith Dara Fund. My parents, Richard and Verna Jackson, experienced the most amazing care at a hospice house. And now it's time for Chautauqua County to have its very own Star Hospice House in Chautauqua County.
I am so proud to be involved with this project, the Star Hospice House, a facility so desperately needed in our community. I'd like to thank our community's partners, the nursing homes, the skilled nursing facilities, the doctors for their support. And I look forward to the opening of the Star Hospice House in 2021, where we can continue to serve our client families at their most difficult time.
It's an honor to be part of this organization. There's several partners in the community that we worked with that we want to thank. Among those are our local hospitals, Westville Memorial, Brooks Hospital, and UPMC. As we start the Star Hospice project, we look forward to working with them in the future.
I'm pleased to have played a role in helping make the Star Hospice House happen. Many people and collaborators have helped CHPC get to this exciting time, and I'd like to mention just a few, the generous people who have helped us reach this important milestone. Thank you to the Stars, foundations, and donors who have given to the Our House campaign and who will make this project reality. I look forward to the residents bringing comfort, control, and dignity to our residents in the very near future.
Hi, I feel so honored to be part of such a worthwhile mission, providing the first 24-hour hospice residence in Chautauqua County. Thanks to the generosity of caring individuals, as well as several foundations, our vision is becoming reality. A special thank you to Stanley and Elizabeth Starr for their gracious gift and the naming of the Star Hospice House. I look forward to the residents providing dignity, comfort, and control to those who need it most in the very near future.
I'm pleased to have played a role in helping make the Star Hospice House happen. Many collaborators have helped the CHPC get to this exciting time, and I'd like to mention just a couple. Our two community foundations. Thank you for managing endowments that ensure patient care and for helping ensure the success of the residents' project. I look forward to the house bringing comfort, control, and dignity to our residents in the very near future.
Hello. It is my pleasure to be here today in Point Gratiot and the historic lighthouse, which you see behind me, in Dunkirk, New York. I am very proud to be part of a committee that is helping to build a hospice house in Chautauqua County, soon to be named the Star Hospice House. I would like to thank some of our collaborators that have helped with this endeavor, one of them being the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, and the other are area churches and faith-based organizations. I am extremely proud to be part of this, and I thank you all for everything you've done.
I'm so happy to be part of this campaign, and I would like to thank Bert and Mary Rappel, the members of the campaign committee, and all of the contributors who will help to build the Star Hospice House.
It's my privilege to serve on the hospice board. I want to thank the Lene Foundation, the KeyBank First Niagara Foundation, and the Community Foundation for their support. I also am very excited about the Star Hospice House coming to Chautauqua County very soon.
I am so pleased to have played a small role in helping the Star Hospice House come to fruition. Many people, individuals, collaborators, and area foundations have helped hospice get to this exciting time. I'd like to mention just a few: the board, Shauna, Andy, and especially Dr. Bert and Mary Rappel. Thank you to all the amazing, outstanding employees who have provided excellent care to the area families, especially Michelle, who helped me take care of Thomas Getska. Without their devoted work, the Our House campaign would not have been possible. I look so forward to the residents bringing comfort, peace, control, and dignity to our residents and their families in the very near future.